and welcome back to another episode of Rugby with Pads. We are on day four of our mock draft mania week. This was originally planned as just one episode, but I decided to split it up and drip feed you a little bit. Today was an interesting one. I started out doing a couple of drafts with John. John's been a contributor on the pod before. He was one of our first guests. He is over in America these days, so he knows way more than we do over on this side of the pond. It was we did a couple of drafts and with a couple of weird stipulations, because what you've seen so far is some normal stuff and some more regular advice. What I wanted to do is, what happens if we throw it all into chaos? So we started out the draft, we randomized our positions, and we gave each other the ability to punish each other, but we didn't know what punishments there were. There was a wheel involved, all the current crazy stuff. So without further ado, you can go ahead and watch this. I'm not going to ruin the rest of it. But it was interesting, to say the least. Let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's get into the day. And apologies, on the intro, I said it was the fifth day. It's the fourth day, which means you get a fifth day tomorrow. So look forward to that. All right. Right, guys. Welcome back. We are joined by John. John has been a frequent contributor. I haven't been a frequent contributor of late, but you were our first contributor. So thank you very much, John, and welcome back to the pod. Do you want to let everyone know who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me back on the pod. I think I debuted sometime last year, so everyone can hear my voice again and should recognize who I am. Anyway, I'm John, one of Sam's university mates. Moved to the US to get married, work over at LAX now, so living it up in LA.
And he now sounds like a northern transplant on the West Coast now. We were just talking before we came on about John's new accent. So at the very least, it gives this podcast a little bit of legitimacy because we've got a adjacent American. So we're this part of our now it's going to be 5, but it could be 7. We'll have to see. If you're all good, you could listen to 7 different pods this week. But part of our mock draft week, we're doing a load of different mocks, and this is probably the culmination of everything. This is the Friday show. We are going to do a full-on head-to-head mock, but with an added bit of chaos. So the premise for today's pod and today's draft is going to be a 12-man draft. So like we've done on the pod before, we've shown some examples. We're not going to do anything too fruity with it. We're going to be doing PPR rules. But what we are going to be doing is taking a leaf out of the Fantasy Footballers book and punishing each other with the wheel of punishments, or the wheel of chaos. So every so often you might hear us pause and we'll do something crazy. We'll let the wheel decide. There's an element of randomness here, but we'll just get on with it and show you what we're doing. And John, do you want to spin first or second?
Let me spin first.
All right, spin first. So John is going to get, what position is he going to get? Let's have a look. All right, John is going to be drafting out of the 5 spot. A solid spot.
Yeah, not bad.
Have you practiced the 5 spot at all?
Practice the 4 and the 6, mainly for our other league where there's like 14 man. So this one's kind of should be relatively similar to those mocks.
I mean, I typically split them in segments and do like the first, third, second, third, and last, and see what happens. And I'm in the 9 spot, which is moves it towards the end. So this will be quite good. Neither of us are going to get a superstar off the bat, but we're not going to get anyone too duff, hopefully, either. So let's get into it. So we're going to join our sleeper league. And John, you've already selected the 5. Was I 9?
You are 9.
I was 9 indeed. So let's start the draft. Let's turn off all the notifications and let's get to it. So John will be first on the clock. Christian McCaffrey off first. Justin Jefferson, Austin Eckler, Jamar Chase. Now, John, talk me through your pick before you make it.
Okay, so kind of similar to how you've been drafting in the previous years. I always kind of take a running back first, but based on last year and my selections of in the league record, taking selections like Dalvin Cook, and I think I took another one of those like top 10 running backs. They didn't really pan out. I decided this year I am more kind of towards taking one of these high-end wide receivers. So people, obviously, if Justin Jefferson hadn't been taken off the board, Jamar Chase, Cooper Cup, I would be taking one of those first. And then if they were, then I'd take one of the higher-end running backs. So as you can see, Cooper Cup is still sitting there at rank number 6. So I'm going to, fingers crossed, as long as the mayhem doesn't start right now, or chaos, I'm going to select Cooper Cup as my first draft pick.
You are
allowed.
You were allowed. You were allowed. I didn't pause the draft. I could have paused the draft to really do you in there. You know what? I probably would have done similar. I might have chosen Kelsey because I am warming to the idea of not going too late with tight end because it's such a shallow position. But there are lots of shallow positions. And you made a good point about running backs. So unpredictable. I mean, we're not even sure if two of the kind of top 5 guys are actually going to play this year. It's crazy, but yeah, you're not going to get anyone out of the top 4. Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase are going to go in that order in some way, shape, or form. So I think Kupp was probably the best choice. Diggs went shortly after, and Travis Kelce at the 7, Tyreek Hill, which leaves me with a tough choice. And I haven't drafted out of the 9, I realised much. I normally draft a bit towards the end. This is a bit of a kind of tweener spot, but I am actually going to draft someone who I think is going to be guaranteed volume, and it's going to be a player who hasn't even taken a snap in the league, if John lets me, that is. It's, of course, going to be Bijan Robinson. I think I don't think the Falcons are going to be as bad as everyone thinks they're going to be, and I do really like Bijan Robinson's prospects. I possibly think there are better running backs than him, but I'm playing the ADP game a little bit and thinking that someone could come back to me, but we will have to see. But John, am I allowed to draft Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, we'll allow that.
Yeah, we're going to let me. Okay, that's cool. Jonathan Taylor goes straight after AJ Brown, Barkley, and Mahomes at the turn. Devontae Adams and CD Lamb, and that leaves me in a very interesting position because there are still 2 players I really, really like. And yeah, if you've watched any of these mock drafts, I've been really a big fan of Josh Jacobs. I do think he'll play, and I think at this stage, if you're going to miss out 1 or 2 games, because there's a chance that him and Saquon could miss a couple of games potentially in contract holder, but he will play a lot because if he doesn't, he doesn't get an eligible year in the league and he'll be stuck in the same position, just like Le'Veon Bell was. It doesn't work out for him. I don't like Nick Chubb for the passing upside. I do a little bit. He's a bit better this year, but he hasn't proven it. Josh Jacobs has. He did it in college. He did it last year. Derrick Henry, I think, might tire, and he's only a foot injury away or a foot re-injury away. Josh Jacobs, relatively clean history. John, am I allowed to take Josh Jacobs, or am I going to have to pivot?
I think I'm going to allow this pick.
You're going to allow it? Okay, I've got 2 running backs off the board.
Based on the fact that he may not sign his franchise tag, so he may be looking at him sitting out for the whole season. But it's crazy right now with all the news going on with running backs and not getting contracts that they want, and possibly him and Barkley sitting out the whole year. Oof. That's top 2. Yeah,
you're taking the bet on this mock draft that he won't be in real life. Okay, I get that. I get that. You're treating it like real, and that's a good piece of advice for anyone listening. Treat it like it's real. Straight after me, Derrick Henry does go. I want to Russell Brown, who would be on the list if I hadn't have been allowed to pick Josh Jacobs. I might have gone that way if I'd been allowed. Jalen Waddle, who I am not stoked on, but I know a lot of people are. High-powered offense, good opportunity there. John, who are you pairing with Cooper Kupp? Or who do you want to pair?
So I'm just looking at the running backs that are still available and where they kind of sit in tier system.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Nick Chubb available still in. I'm using the fantasy footballers tier system. That might be different from other.
Okay,
other.
Have you got the UDK?
I do have the UDK.
Oh wow! Well, okay, tomorrow on the Saturday edition of this show, and just spoiler already. There's a bonus show. There's an announcement coming about a competing but not nearly as good product coming from Rugby with Pads. So what's this space?
Okay. I'll use both for a league of record. Yeah. So Nick Chubb is high up there on the in the tiers that's left there, and then just looking at the maybe going double wide receiver here to pair with Cooper Kupp there. So kind of looking at there's Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, those two second-year players that Garrett Wilson's getting lots of hype right now, especially being paired with
Rodgers,
my former boy Aaron Rodgers.
He's your number one love, isn't he? Really,
he is my number one love. Yes.
Sorry, Caroline.
She's gone. She's gone for.
She left the room. Okay,
she's left the room.
We can talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, true. But looking, that would be good to pair. Maybe I do like Chris Olave this year. After that, there's like T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf still on the board. They may come back to me if I went a different route. See, I used the word route. But I think the tiers do drop down a bit after. Well, it drops down to the next tier with running back. So as long as you allow it, I'm going to take Nick Chubb here.
I'm going to.
You're going to pause.
Pause the choice draft, yeah, and we're going to wipe the slate clean with those guys. I'm sorry, John. I couldn't. You mentioned tier breaks, and as much as I am a big fan of tiers, I can't let you do it. So we are going to have a quick flick over, and we are going to start the wheel of chaos, of course. So the wheel of chaos is gonna decide John's fate. So what are you hoping it lands on?
Let me just take a quick look. I hope it's maybe the wheel of I hope maybe wheel of ADP. That's probably the best.
Oh, we in fact have wheel of teams. This could be bad this early on. So let's take a look at the wheel of teams. The wheel of teams means you have to pick a player from this team.
Okay.
So let's see who we've got. If you manage to get Nick Chubb,
well, that's great. But I mean, early on in the draft is probably a good one. Panthers.
But you get the Panthers. Okay. The Panthers is an interesting one. I'm just going to turn the music off for this because that was really loud in my ears. The Panthers. So if we flick back and we have a look at who's up on the Panthers, then anyone really coming to mind?
There is, and I would definitely not take him at this early on in the draft. It is a running back. It is Miles Sanders. That would be the obvious choice.
Oh yeah.
Out of everyone else, they've got the wide receivers. No chance taking them that high here because they got Thielen, DJ Chark, is he there, and Jonathan Mingo, and I wouldn't take any of them that high. QB.
No, there's 100 spots between there. Miles Sanders is probably your best unless you want to go early quarterback. So
no. So I'm going to take Miles Sanders then with this unfortunate pick.
Okay. So I force the pick then. Let's do that then. I'm sorry, John.
That's fine. That's cool. He is a player that I normally take a little bit later on. Not this early.
You're just moving him up. It's fine. I obviously can't do anything to you this time. So hadn't got far to move. So Nick Chubb just went straight afterwards, so he didn't reach his way back to you. So you've missed out on that running back tier, but you've got some interesting prospects ahead of you.
Okay, so looking now at who's gone after me? Stevenson. Okay, so he would have been another one I would have gone after. ETN, Pollard, Higgins, Wilson. Okay, so I got wide receiver, running back. Who we got so Chris Olave still here.
Mm-hmm. Very good choice. A lot of people's number one. Yeah.
Tight end. I was tempted to go if Mark Andrews was there in the third. I've been taking him a little bit more in mocks in this round, third round.
Yeah.
I am seeing Jalen Hurts sitting here.
Good value in the third. He's landed 2 on ADP.
Way.
Yeah.
He is gonna be maybe a pick that I take, but looking at what's available and maybe what's coming to come back to me in terms of like a true like workhorse running back. And think I'm gonna maybe hold off on the QB and go with my pick of Najee Harris.
I like that pick. Yeah,
mainly because he should be another year removed from the weird injury he had or he was suffering from all
Liz Frank
year.
Was it?
I don't remember what he was
a high ankle
what he had, but
silly,
he like had some ankle injury last off season and he just played through it all year. And I think towards the end of the season he was getting back to his like rookie year shape. He still catches the ball.
He does.
Still a bruiser. So I'm gonna pick Najee Harris.
Okay, well, go ahead. I'm powerless to stop you. Funnily enough, Jalen Hurts comes back to me, and am I just going to go crazy? There's a couple of names that really jump out at me here. One of them is just gone, and he is probably the top tier break in my wide receivers. So I feel like I need to get a tier break on something else. And I never take quarterback this early, but I've taken 2 running backs, which is not something I've been doing often towards the tail end. Bijan fell to me, so I was lucky about that. I want to pick Jalen Hurts, but I have a feeling John's not going to let me.
That is correct. I'm not going to let you.
Oh my god! Right, so let's flick back to the wheel of chaos. Let's see what's in store for me. What are you hoping to get, John?
Maybe that wheel of teams got me a little
bit. Wheel
of
teams is hard, man, because you can drop down. Okay,
block that player.
This is about as good. So I get to pick another player, but you're allowed to block another player. So I'm not allowed to pick Jalen Hurts, and I'm not allowed to pick whoever you want to block from me, and then you force me there. So I'll give you my reasoning why I wanted Jalen Hurts. Who else are you going to block from me?
So let's just jump back to the tiers. If you were thinking of going quarterback, maybe Lamar is another choice that you could have made if you were kind of decided on a quarterback this early to pair off with your Robinson and Jacobs. He's another runner, so this year should be better at passing now that he's got more targets. And again, he's recovered from his injury. So, but if you didn't go quarterback, running backs that are available, you may go with your dynasty boy, Jahmyr Gibbs, but I feel like you probably will not go that route because you've already got 2 running backs and you don't tend to do stack up on like 3 running backs all in one go. But who's at wide receiver? So we've got Devontae Smith, Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen. I feel like you want someone that's going to get volume, and you do like Keenan Allen. So I think I would. Oh, it is difficult. You're not going to take tight end.
I feel like the choices here are really good anyway. So no matter who you block, I'm going to find someone good.
Yeah, exactly. Who's available still, and where wide receiver, I think you'd just generally be happy with. So I don't know who I'd block for myself, but I'll let you decide, and then I'll decide whether I'm going to block it again.
All right, I probably would have gone Lamar Jackson here.
Okay, I'm going to block it again.
Okay, so I get my second choice, and I am weighing up on some of those players. Jahmyr Gibbs and TJ Hawkinson was screaming out to me, but I think playing the ADP game, he could come back to me. So I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs because same thing. I'm going to go rookie, young, dynasty. I think he's got a good route for first 6 games to come good. So I'm going to go with him. Keenan Allen, Jamal Hurts, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Kenneth Walker, and Breece Hall all go. Lamar Jackson goes just before he comes back to me. So I think it's an easy pick for me here. I'm not seeing this is not a tier of wide receiver class that I really like at this point. There is one guy that really calls out to me. I feel like I should go tight. No, I don't want to go tight end. I feel like I need to
Too
go
early.
receiver. I need to go receiver. I don't rate Debo. DeAndre Hopkins is an unfortunate fade for me. Terry McLaurin's calling out, but I'm going to go with someone who I think stands out to be a good opportunity to be a league winner. I'm going to go DJ Moore. I think, despite everything, I think he's got a good chance to come good this year. And yeah, tell me what you want. So after DJ Moore, Justin Fields, who is the pair to him, goes straight afterwards. Debo Samuel, I could have taken Justin Fields. That would have been a good shout, But TJ Hawkinson goes. So for me, that break of tight ends goes. John, who are you looking at now? You've got a wide receiver and 2 running backs so far. It's looking pretty good for you right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm relatively happy with the picks that we got right now. Seeing after the punishment round, but looking at who's available still. So we have Aaron Jones, running back Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon. Aaron Jones is getting overlooked a lot. I think he's still going to be involved in the Green Bay offense. So that could be a pick. Joe Mixon, I mean, things have turned around for him in the last couple of weeks, getting re-signed.
Very fortunate there in Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're very lucky there. After that, kind of don't like in the 4th any of the running backs there. Wide receiver, we got Cam Ridley, who I think he's way too high, seeing that he's just spent like maybe 2.5 years away from the game. I do like Amari Cooper here. I know he says questionable here. He picked something up in training camp, it looks like, today. He is in a lower tier than... Actually, no, we're into like the 5th tier of available players right now for wide receivers. So to pair with Cooper Kupp, that wouldn't be too bad. Amari Cooper or Hopkins, maybe. Who's
I'm going to come out and say it, John, I'm not going to use the wheel yet.
I'm not going to use the
wheel. I'm not going to use the wheel on this one. I'm going to bide my time a little bit further.
Yeah, I'm just wasting time reading out all the players.
Give me strategy tips for next.
Yeah, so I wouldn't pick tight end. I know you were looking at Hawkinson, but this again, tight end last year was just, if you didn't have those like Kelsey or Andrews was injured as well. If you didn't have Kelsey, it was completely flip of a coin whether you were going to get a good tight end or not. So I'm going to keep my strategy of just taking that position kind of later on. So
Kelsey it was 206. PPR 316 points. Mark Andrews last year was 190. Wow, there's 120 points in PPR difference between the two. So if you didn't have Kelsey, you didn't have anyone. That was the thing.
I think I am looking at who has got what in front of me. It's hit and miss. I think I'm probably gonna go with Amari Cooper to pair with Cooper Kupp.
Nice, yeah.
Thing with the Coopers.
Okay, Amari Cooper. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. Straight after Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, who I like a lot and big upside. Calvin Ridley goes at the end. George Kittle, Chris Godwin, who I think has gone up in people's minds. D-Hop doesn't come back to you. Terry McLaurin and Damian Pierce. And you know what? Because there are some interesting players coming up, and this is getting to a zone where the 5th round is really interesting for me because
QB round.
There's QBs on the board. You're looking at there potentially. But it's also sets the pace for your team. So if you can't get the player you really need, you have to probably pivot at this point, because John's gone 2-2 in wide receiver and running back. I've gone 3-1 running back to wide receiver. So I am definitely going to be going wide receiver or other position at this point. It's a difficult round because so many people are chasing players now, and I'm going to come out straight and say it, John. I'm coming after your pick here. Okay. So I'm going to go Wheel of Chaos, and let's let it ride. Let's see what happens here. Oh, anyone from the next 20 ADP
Okay.
slots. John, I've shafted you twice here. I made you draft 40 players down in ADP on the last wheel spin, and now I'm making you draft up to 20. So what we're going to do, open up the roulette random number generator here, and we're going to see where it lands. You could get one. We're just going to let fate decide. We're going to go down 8. So who does that leave you with? Let's have a quick look here, shall we? Who do you think that gives you?
Well,
who do you want?
So I was looking at QB here. Justin Herbert's still there. I would have taken him. But
oh my god!
8 down from the available players brings me, I believe, Swift.
It does. I'm sorry, John. That was awful. I've given you 2 terrible running backs, and you've got Miles. Oh yeah, sorry. Yep, you get DeAndre Swift. Sorry, buddy. Do you want to take that pick?
I'll take it.
And I'm kind of seeing what's going to happen here. Are you going to pull the trigger?
No, because I did it last time. So
no, you did the round before. I got DJ Moore, so you did it on the Gibbs round.
So I
can.
Allowed to do it. So what have we already did? What have I already done to ruin your draft?
Not a huge amount so far. I'm feeling pretty
huge amount.
Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to enjoy this chaos. So yes, we'll spin the wheel and see what you get.
Oh my goodness! Again, the fans at home are gonna get bored of this. No. Hopefully not. This is meant to, all right, okay. Well, you get straight up decide the next player I get to pick. So it has to right. So there is a caveat here. It has to be within the next 20.
Okay.
So a bit like the random number generator, but I'm just going to let you pick, and I will click on whoever you say. So the next 20, while John takes a look: Drake London, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Kyle Pitts, Mattison, Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers, James Conner, Darren Waller, Michael Pittman. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I get 9 more from there: Marquise Hollywood Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Williams, Tyler Lockett, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, Christian Kirk, Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams. So all the way down to Javonte is what you get to choose from.
Okay.
What does the most damage?
What does the most damage? Well, you are in dire need of a wide receiver. So we'll probably end up taking a tight end or a running back here. Yeah. And for you to try and make you pivot and salvage your team later on. So I think what we'll do is 90 ADP 19 and 20 looks like Pacheco or Javonte Williams, both of whom are questionable right now. So I think what we'll do is we'll pick out Javonte Williams for you. So get that 4th running back that you really
Brilliant. That's just what I needed. Yeah, as you can imagine, I'm thrilled by that decision. All right, well, I'm going to make a quick choice. Luckily, only Drake London and Jerry Jeudy went next. I've got Christian Watson staring at me there. There is a bunch of great wide receivers, but not ones that I really think that I can rely on a week in, week out here. Michael Pittman is probably coming out to me as being the top guy. Tyler Lockett has competition from Jack Smith and Jigba. Mike Williams can't stay on the pitch, but I'm going to pick a guy who I love as well, and who I've been picking up a lot of. I think he's going to be the number 1 in his team. It's going to be Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to start rescuing my team.
Good pick.
So yeah, I'm happy with that. I think that's a yeah. You need 2 a wide receiver for me. You need 2 guys who are going to get volume. The other guy can be a bit of a flyer if you need. So that's what I've gone for. John, you got a free pick again. See what you can do.
Okay, so I'm in need of maybe another wide receiver here. Looking at the tiers there, and who probably come back to me. I think I wouldn't be too upset if I didn't go wide receiver. I don't like Michael Pittman this year just because rookie QB is bound to start for the Colts, and so I'm not interested there. Marquise Brown is interesting, only if Kyler Murray comes back.
He could play week 2. You never know. Yeah, he could play week 12. He could play week 2. You never know. No one actually knows.
You already talked about Mike Williams, injury prone. Tyler Lockett is interesting here, just for one more year. Christian Kirk, Mike Evans. Nothing's kind of jumping off the page at me here. Just taking a quick peek of who's left at tight end position. We got Darren Waller. Ooh, that's interesting. Not looking at the team though and what I need. I'm probably not going to take a tight end here. I'm just going to take that later on. Running back, kind of feel like I know I've got 3, but I feel like I need another. Yeah. I need another one. Alvin Kamara. He would normally, just because the big name. Previous years, you'd be taking that if he was still available in the 6th.
So he's pleaded down to a misdemeanor. This feels weird. This is not a legal podcast, I promise. But he's pleaded down to misdemeanor. So I think by the letter of the law, that means 2 to 4 games. I don't think he can get done for 6 unless he's done for like 7 apiece now or something like that.
Unless he does something else. So he could be a pick of mine here. After that, Pacheco, David Montgomery. Looking at the teams in front of me, Team 1, who picked first, Christian McCaffrey, they're probably going to likely take a running back here. Other teams in front of me also
still got QB
need for
consider as well.
QB, QB. So that's what I'm just flicking to now. We've got Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, new. Deshaun Watson, Tua after that. That's a real drop off of QBs there. So I am gonna take a flyer on Trevor Lawrence this year.
Good choice.
Last year, and he's a runner a little bit. He runs around a little bit. He should hopefully take a step up. So I'm taking.
He's not a runner by far. He's a pocket passer, but he can, and
he can scramble when needed.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that.
What I mean. Okay.
Put us out of misery, John. Okay. You know what? I'm going to let you make another pick as well because I want my last to be to be in the bag, and I guess by that I want my last chaos to be in retaliation, and I'm guessing by that you wanted Darren Waller.
If he came back to me, I would have taken him in the 7th. I think he would have been.
I think it's great value. Yeah, I think he's good value in the 5th personally, but that's mine. You've got to play the ADP game. As he's not available, who are you going for?
So I've got Trevor Lawrence, Miles Sanders, Najee Harris, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, and then in my flex, Andre Swift right now. So again, like before, running back needs to be bolstered a little bit. Looking at the guys who may come back to me, there's not a huge amount of starters left here. James Cook, maybe. Is he the starter of Buffalo? Who knows?
I think it'll be a committee because I've got Damian Harris. It could be. He might get some second and third down. He'll get passing work. Damian Harris isn't that guy.
Maybe just looking at wide receiver who's left: Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans. He's still available. Mike Evans to go. Deontay Johnson. I'm thinking for my team, I've got 2 good wide receivers, and I think I'm tempted to take a wide receiver here for the flex position and go most weeks 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers here. So out of those, I've got Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans. Tyler Lockett, like you said earlier, could get some of his snaps eaten into by Jackson Smith in Njigba.
Close enough.
So
JSN,
JSN, let's just shorten it. Let's use acronyms. Like Americans, acronym everything. So I am gonna probably take the fact that Mike Evans is still the wide receiver 1 on his team. I'm gonna take him, despite his weeks last year where they couldn't get him the ball. But I'm relying on the fact that wide receiver 1, you can still get it done. He's still less than 30, I believe, 29, maybe turning 30 in the season. But still, he's still a beast. So I'm going to take him as long as you can allow it.
No, I've already said you're doing. Yeah, and he is a 1,000-yard receiver, but I think this might be the year it falls off. I probably would have made the same pick, maybe. In fact, now it's fallen to me. I want to go Deontay Johnson if I'm allowed, and I'll wait to see if John lets me. But just on the Mike Evans thing, I rate Godwin above Mike Evans because I'm thinking about who's passing it. Baker Mayfield it doesn't shout out to me to be. He's a bit shorter. He's not the downfield guy anymore. I think he's lost some confidence. So I'm thinking check downs, slot play. I'm thinking Chris Godwin. But that's my thought. I rate him above Mike Evans, but I think Mike Evans still can do some damage, especially in the flex spot. So Johnny, you're gonna let me take Deontay. I need a guy who can pick up a couple of passes.
I'll allow it.
Oh, you're going to allow it. Okay, all right. You're going to let me breathe. The other choice for me was Jahan Dotson. I like him as a number 2, but Deontay is going to have regression, to the mean in terms of touchdowns. I think he's going to get better there. Then it leaves me in a difficult position, and I've got 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers. I think I need to pivot to another spot. I'm not going to be the guy who takes Pat Freiermuth, but Pat Freiermuth is the kind of guy who always gets picked because there's no one else on the board. You've got to fill out your roster. There's a couple of players I really like here. I'm just talking out. I like Antonio Gibson a lot, but I've got a lot of running backs. I love Gabe Davis. I think he's really good, and I love Tua as well. Out of those 3, I would like to take Gabe Davis. John, will you let me?
Yes, we'll allow it.
You're gonna let me because you don't rate Gabe Davis because you traded him away.
I think yes, I was disappointed with his season last year, and I was same with who was it? Deontay Johnson. I traded him away. Yeah, these are all emotional picks that you shouldn't just trade players away just based on like the previous season. So,
but I think you missed a trick here, John. I think you should have just done me in the dirt here, no matter what. Because that's exactly what I'm going to do to you, John. And after my pick of Gabe Davis, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kadarius Toney and Quentin Johnson goes, there are not many wide receivers left on the board. The one I do like is Jahan Dotson here, and I want to give John a little chance of possible of getting him. So I am going to call upon my final chaos wheel and see what happens. Hoping for that wheel of teams again. That was fun.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
But instead we get I just get to decide.
Okay. The player decides. So you get to pick a player for me.
Based on your team makeup, who am I going to pick? Let me have a think. Well, okay, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking tight end. I think potentially because you've got 3 running backs. You may be thinking about a 4th running back who could give you some luck. If I was being really nasty, and I might do this, I might pick you up a second QB. So how many have I got? I can go down to I think he's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm going to add to Elijah Moore. I'm not going to pick you up another QB. I'm going to pick you up a wide receiver who I think you won't like. I'm going to pick you. Who do you think I'll pick you?
Okay, so wide receiver. Colton Sutton comes to mind.
Yeah, you Colton Sutton, mate. Sorry.
There you go.
He is picked, yeah. So because he died a death on my team last year. So again, emotional pick. But yeah, so Anthony Richardson goes straight after Jahan Dotson, who was worried about you getting. Goes Pat Freiermuth, some other running backs at Washington, both of whom I've got on my dynasty team. Pat Freiermuth goes, David Njoku goes, both the players who I thought you might think about. Back to you, John. I'm powerless.
Okay, so 3 strong wide receivers. 4. I'd still say 3 strong.
3.5, yeah.
3.5. Looking at what's available, we'll skip over running back. But tight ends available. You are the team that you and Team 11 needs a tight end that's left. So I feel like the pick that and you don't have any punishments for me left. So I feel like I'm going to play the ADP there and wait for the tight end that I want.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of taking a bit of a flyer on the opportunity that Zach Charbonnet will have with the Seattle Seahawks offense there, rather than take his former Seahawk running back Rashad Penny. I do not want to have too much of that Philadelphia Eagles running back room. So for my pick, and I'm sure I will be able to take it, is going to be Zach Charbonnet.
Hello there. Just popping in the middle here to apologise for the audio quality on this. For some reason, Google didn't want to start recording me. It switched my mics over to my headset. It switched my camera. It was all over the place. So the second half was a bit shaky. So it looks a bit different if you're watching on YouTube. Hopefully the audio quality isn't too bad. I've tried to do my best in post to fix it. But apologies in advance for what you're about to hear or what you have just heard. Sorry about that, everyone. Bit of technical gremlins on my side. I can't even blame the guests this time. So, John, are you going to chaos me here?
So who you got on your team? You got I think you're all set for running backs and wide receivers. So you got 4 picks left. You need a quarterback, and you need choices of quarterback. Questionable. And then you need a tight end, which I also need. So I think I'm gonna. I've got 2. Have I got 2 punishments left?
No, you've only got the one, mate.
I got 1. Ooh. I think I am going to. Let me just take a look. Everyone in front of you's got quarterbacks, so I think I'm just gonna let you ride. I know. I'm gonna let you make your selection.
You can let me make my selection.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredibly virtuous and kind, John. I'm incredibly grateful, everlasting, and I hadn't even thought about that was an option there, so I haven't even thought about who I want. But I am going to probably take someone who I am high on, and I know a lot of people aren't. Am I going to take him? I'm thinking later. I'm thinking, look at my stacks. You know what? I'm going to pick him. I'm going to pick Aaron Rodgers. He's coming into my team. So get in my team. I have tight end left, and that is all. Straight after Jamal Williams, Rashad Penny, Elijah Moore, Kirk Cousins, Cole Kmet, and Zay Flowers go. Leave me with another pick. John, what are we going to do about it?
I think we'll use the last punishment on you for this round.
So. You left it late. You left it late, but let's see if it's effective here. Let's see what happens here. We have the wheel of positions.
Ooh.
So I'm not even sure I set this one up. So let's have a look. Let's see if we've got a wheel of positions here. So basically, it's just like you thought. Pick any position. I haven't set the wheel up even, so I'm just going to quickly do that. We'll vamp a little bit. Tight end, wide receiver. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to do some editing on this one. Right, so sharing that. Wheel of positions. So, John, what are you hoping I get?
Anything but tight end. So I think you need some more running backs. Who's available right now is that could have take your second QB. That could also that's worse than I was gonna select for you. So at this
I've just picked Aaron Rodgers.
You
know what? I know who I'm gonna pick, and at this point, almost doesn't matter. But I'm gonna pick Jared Goff because I've got some stack there as well with Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm going to go Jared Goff. Get in my team. Enough said. John, you have a free draft now, so it's all up to you.
Okay, so that's a good team. Number 6 just took A.K.A, which was another. I know you like A.K.A mainly for your dynasty, but that would have been a good pick there. As a just a flyer at this point, round number 10. You're just looking for upside, so A.K.A does have upside there with his speed. My team needs a tight end. I think in the 10th. We're in the 10th round right now, and who's left? We have Dalton Schultz, who's just gone to Houston. That could be a good pick. or I could go with Okonkwo, and I think he has more upside than Schultz and on that
Really? Okay.
offense. So I'm going to select Okonkwo.
All yours, mate. All yours. And straight after that, Dalton Schultz goes a couple of picks later. Then we're into the doldrums of rubbish here. So, John, you've filled up your team. Who are you going to go for as your second to last pick?
So I think at this point, my wide receiver room has got 3 strong wide receivers. I got some iffy candidates at running back. So probably just gonna look at the upside of most whoever's left in running back and start picking them, because the wide receivers after that. Yeah, I think
I think at this
we're
stage you've
gonna
just
stick
got to look
with
for upside, haven't you? You really just got to look for upside.
So-
Whoever could have a spike week that you might land on. Yeah.
exactly. So we have Elijah Mitchell still here. CMC can't play every down, so he's going to get some use. Tyler Algier,
He's a high level backup as well, because
High
CMC
level-
has got injured.
So Tyler Algier, he's going to be the backup to Robinson now, Bijan. So he's probably going to get less work than Elijah Mitchell. Delvin Singletary's interesting. So he just joined Houston. You don't know how he's going to be better this year, but I just don't know how many drives they're going to sustain. Which means that for Singletary to still be on the field, it's probably going to be not as frequent as someone from like the 49ers or another team. So I think here, looking at upside, Elijah Mitchell, even though he has injury prone, he can still break off long TD runs. So we're going to go with Elijah Mitchell here.
Okay, I love that pick. I think that's a very well thought out pick there. And I need to fill my team with a tight end. Probably, I could go away and not draft a tight end, and that is a consideration legitimately. But I think there's one here that I think could be the number 2 pass catcher in his team. Tyler Higbee, get on my team. I think you have to Cooper Kupp. Who else is there? I think some people say Van Jefferson, some people say Puka Nacua. Cam Akers could take a role there. It could be anything. Now, so I've got Tyler Higbee. So going into 11, I've got Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, DJ Moore, Javonte Williams, who wasn't an awful pick, but it was the lowest ADP I could have gone for. Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis, Aaron Rodgers, and Jared Goff back to back, brilliant, and Tyler Higbee. John, on the other hand, has got Cooper Kupp, Miles Sanders, Najee Harris, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Swift, Trevor Lawrence, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Zach Charbonnet, Okonkwo, which I can never pronounce properly, and Elijah Mitchell. Now, John, I'm going to suggest something here.
Okay.
I suggest for our last round, we go all out and we just let the wheels of fate decide.
I think yeah. I think our teams are basically
pretty balanced. So let's
pretty balanced. Yeah. So let's just let the wheel decide for the last
okay.
Pick for each.
For me, there's one I really hope I don't get. But I've got wheel of teams. Okay, well, I'll go pick my wheel of teams in a second. Let's pick your one while we're waiting. And so I'll have the wheel of teams, and John will have repeat the last position.
Okay.
So John has to draft.
I was going back anyway. Oh, okay.
Oh no, running back. You have to draft another running back.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So wheel of teams. At this position, at this time, I don't think there's any bad ones. So let's see who I end up with. And I end up with a Chargers player. I'm not sure if there's any left. I might have to leave this to come back because there aren't any left. Oh, there is. There's someone who actually I wouldn't have been too upset about getting either. And that is Gerald Everett. Ex Ram. Gerald Everett, get on my team. And John, you've got to pick a last running back. Who are you going for?
Okay, so we have.
I think there's one guy who screams out as pick me, especially in the last round flyer.
So who we got? We got basically the remaining running backs from Miami still on the board. We got maybe the running back one for Chicago, who actually knows? Kendrick Miller, we got maybe take Ezekiel Elliott. He might get picked up halfway through the season, but hasn't got a team right now. I've already got Najee Harris, so I'm going to pick up his handy handcuff. So I think here we are going to probably take one of the running backs from Miami, and I think I'm going to take the well, I was going to say upside, but I'm going to take Jeff Wilson here.
Oh, Jeff Wilson. Okay, I like it. Yeah, I think he's got the best chance to be the consistent number 2 in that. So,
who would you have?
I probably would have gone Zeke.
Who did you have?
Yeah,
you would have gone
I think
Zeke.
He has a chance to become a number 1 on someone's team, or he has a chance to go back to the Cowboys and not be awful. So, finishing teams from top to bottom, QB through. I've got Aaron Rodgers, Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk, Tyler Higbee, Jahmyr Gibbs in the flex, and on the bench, Javonte Williams, Deontay Johnson, Gabe Davis, Jared Goff, and Gerald Everett. That's great. And on John's side, Trevor Lawrence, love that pick. Miles Sanders and Najee Harris, not the best initial running room, but not awful, very serviceable, I think. Cooper Kupp and Amari Cooper, I love the wide receivers there. Chig and DeAndre Swift, Mike Evans, who will probably play in the flex, Cortland Sutton, Zach Charbonnet, Elijah Mitchell, and Jeff Wilson. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good draft there from both sides. So, guys, let us know what you think. Sorry for the technical difficulties, Nick. You can't see my face. And John, thank you very much for coming. And any last bits of advice you've got for anyone drafting coming up?
Not really. Just enjoy it. Look at ADP. Don't be pressured into picking a player just because there's a run on them right now. So yeah, it's let the fantasy season begin.
Can't wait. Thanks, John. See you on the other side.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching or viewing that or listening to it. However you're consuming this content these days, we're getting a bit more traction on YouTube, which is fantastic. But if you're familiar to the podcast audio format, that's brilliant too. So thank you very much for tuning in, let's say. We will have John on another session very soon. I'm going to keep it a little bit of a surprise, but tomorrow we'll be back with another mock draft episode. Thank you so much for subscribing, listening, to whatever you do. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to little old me prattle on about fantasy football. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Rugby with Pads, and you can also go and get some merch as well, rugbywithpads.com. We are trying to create a proper store very soon, but if you want to show support for the podcast, you can do so there. Thanks very much, and as always, I will see you on the virtual gridiron.